I wasn't looking for anything that night. I wasn't dressed for seduction or thinking about romance. I was tired, emotionally drained, and hoping the thunderstorm would pass so I could finish renovating the old cabin I'd gotten in the divorce. But fate has a way of showing up when you're not ready, when your walls are down and your soul's raw. I was 39, newly divorced, and healing gets loneliness. Not the kind of numb where you're sad all the time, but the kind where even happiness doesn't feel like anything. I told myself I was okay, that I just needed time. But the truth, healing gets lonely. Especially in an empty house in the middle of the woods. That cabin was supposed to be my fresh start. I had nothing left but a legal settlement and a key to a house that needed everything. New drywall, new plumbing, new hope. Ben and Caleb were helping with that. Not professionally, they were just helping. Two foster brothers who never stopped looking out for each other, even after aging out off the system. I met Ben at the hardware store when I asked too many questions about wall studs. He offered to help. Caleb arrives few days later. Caleb showed up with Paint Street jeans and the kind of flaw that made you forget your own sadness for a second. They came every morning. Caleb arrived a little later, always with an excuse. Ben was calm and measured, while Caleb was the kind offman who moved too fast and said things that made you blush. But they never crossed the line. Not until the ninth rain wouldn't stop. We just finished airing out the bathroom walls when Thepor flickered and thunder cracked salute. It shook the windows. The roads back into town were washed out. Ben looked at me and said, "There's a motel about 2 miles down the ridge. We can ride out the storm there." He said it like it wasn't loaded, like it was just a suggestion, but I felt something in Theer shift. Still, I said yes. The motel was old. One lamp buzzing in the corner. A faint smell of mildew and takeout. 2 beds, but I only remember one. It started with laughter, soaked boots, flickering lights, Caleb complaining about the vending machine eating his dollar. Then it got quiet. That kind of silence that wraps around you, warm and angel. Ben handed me a towel. His fingers brushed mine. Our eyes held just a little too long. Caleb leaned back on the bed and said, "This night's already brunch. Might as well say what were you thinking?" I didn't look away from only if you take turns, Ben. I just said it. The words that changed everything. Only if you take turns. I don't know where it came from. Maybe from being untouched for 15 months. Maybe from the way they looked at me like I wasn't broken. Just in the pause. After I only a second. Then Ben stepped closer. Caleb sat up and I stopped at breathing. The rest was quiet. No more words, just the weight of hands on my was something sacredest. A kiss on my shoulder, the heat off to Bodhi's, and the way they moved around me like I was something sacred. No one fought for me. They shared Malachi with something fragile that needed care, not conquest. My shirt lifted, my breath hitched, my body trembled, not with fear, but recognition, like I was finally being seen. It wasn't rough. It wasn't hate, was something else. It was something else. Urgent, tender, and full of aching silence. They held me steady. One touched while Theodore watched. My eyes closed. My walls fell, and I gave in. I didn't sleep that night, not because of what happened, but because something had cracked open inside me, something I didn't know how to put back. The next day, they didn't come. No texts, no truck pulling up the driveway, just silence. By the third day, I couldn't take it anymore. I drove the hardware store into town, stood in the hardware store, pretending I needed nails. Ben found me first. "You okay?" he asked. I looked down. "I don't know," I whispered. Hanadad said Caleb hadn't said Michelle. "Maybe we broke something," I sighed. "Or maybe we uncovered it," Ben replied. That week, they came back. Not with apologies, not with answers, just nuts, drills, and a quiet understanding that we weren't just rebuilding the cabin anymore. We were building something else, something we didn't have words for. The tension never lifted. It was there in every glance. One night, every time Ben leaned too close, showing him how to hold the level. Every time Caleb's fingers brushed mine wemping tools. Every moment felt like it might crack under the weight of what we weren't saying. One night, while I was in the kitchen, Ben reached past me for a cabinet. I turned, and suddenly we were to chest. My back hit the counter. His breath was on my cheek. Neither of us moved. 10 seconds passed lights under. Then he stepped away like ithert. Later, Caleb stood by the truck in the driveway, staring at the sky. "You scare me," he said quietly. "Not because I don't want you, because I do." 2-1 rainy. Sunday mock. It all came undone again. A rainy Sunday night. No tools, no work. Just the three of us sitting in the half-finished living room with a bottle off bourbon and too many memories. I finalisate it. We can't keep circling this. Ben looked at me, calm but torn. Cale didn't speak. I stood up, went to the needed air, needed space, but I felt them behind me. I turned. I didn't tron. Ben reached for me, his hand on my face, gentle, steady. Caleb's warmth ATI did that night me back. Only if you want this, Ben whispered. I did. God help me. I did. That night it was different. No storm to blame. No motel walls. Just a choice. The most reckless, honest human one I'd made in years. They kissed. Me slow, reverent. And I let them because I wanted to feel alive. Because I need deado be reminded that I was still someone worth touching. We didn't speak afterward, just breathed tangled on Thefler like the aftermath of something holy and dangerous. 3 days passed. Silence again, until Ben came, tired, but certain. I don't regret it, he said. Booty don't know what to do now. Neither did no words I. We finished the cabin eventually. Every board, every nail a memory. They'd said they'd keep things clean. I said, okay. But inside me, nothing felt clean. It felt raw and real. And when they drove away, separate trucks, no ofs, no words. I stood barefoot on the perch, with a mug gone cold and a hearthought had no idea where it belonged. Weeks later, I found a note on the porch under a stone. No names, just words I'll never forget. Asterisk, we didn't leave because we wanted to. Well oft because we didn't want to break you more. But if you ever want us, really want us, you know where to find us. OUTRO. I haven't gone after them, not yet. Booty. Haven't thrown the note away either. Some wounds you don't heal from, you just carry them. Some moments aren't mistakes, they're just truth, in a form too fragile to last. And maybe that night wasn't the end. Maybe it was the beginning of something. I'm still not brave enough to